That's no moon.
Hello there, I'm Tom from That's No Moon, and today I take on one of our patrons, Tom's CIS list. If you've been enjoying our content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, or consider joining our Patreon to support our podcast and video content.
Hi everyone, this is the list I'm playing today. It's called Dooku's Minions. As you can see, we've got General Grievous with Into the Fray and his Annihilator. Then we've got Asajj Ventress with Force Push, Burst of Speed, Defensive Stance and Into the Fray. We have then 3 units of B1s with the E5C, and then we've got 2 with HQ uplinks and the rocket launchers. And then we've got 2 sets of Magna Guards, both with Into the Fray, and then 1 with Protector, coming in at 797.
I'd been looking forward to playing Ahsoka, so my list is Ahsoka and Sabine. It's 787 points and 10 activations. I have the Rebel Officer Bowie with Improvised Orders, Ahsoka Tano with Force Push, Force Reflexes, Seize the Initiative and Into the Fray, Sabine Wren with Up Close and Personal, the Combat Shield and the Grappling Line. I have 2 Naked Rebel Troopers, a squad of Fleet Troopers with the Extra Man and the Scattergun, 3 Commando Sniper Teams, and an AA-5 with Shriv, a Medic, and the Gonk Droid for a couple of shields. I wanted to make sure that I had the bid, then I'd be able to play the game that I wanted to. We end up on major offensive, key positions, and clear conditions. I deploy the Naked Core at the back point, and then I load up the majority of my list within striking distance of the middle. I don't plan on even attempting to get to his objective, and that's just behind the back leg of the mule. I load my fleets into the bus, and I'm ready for turn 1. Going into turn 1, I play Legacy of Mandalore, and Tom divulges Yes My Master. I think this is to be more aggressive against Ahsoka. He opts for the Makashi Mastery with outmaneuver from the card over Bounty, as she's my only immune to pierce unit. I think it's probably a tough choice, as the Rebel Officer is a great target for Bounty, but also he's massively hidden in my ranks. I give my order to Ahsoka, Sabine and the Officer, giving Sabine some dodges from the card. Tom gives out no orders, but he taps the HQ uplink on the B1s, and he passes the order along the chain. This leaves only 1 Magna Guard, Asajj, and General Grievous in the bag. I activate Officer Bowie, who spots as a core and then takes a dodge. I don't want to move to the middle too quickly. Tom activates some B1s who move and dodge. My core unit with a dodge from the officer, they move up to cover and then take another dodge. Again, Tom moves some B1s up to cover. With a squad of snipers, I climb twice to get a better position on top of a building. Tom activates some more droids and double moves up again, making sure that his coordinate chain is still alive. Getting a core token, I decide to protect my back objective early, and now I can use my other 9 activations to work on the middle point. Tom decides to move and dodge with some B1s, again making sure to keep the order chain intact for the next turn, while only being a single move away from the back point. I pull a core, and as I don't have the pass, I spend the activation of the Fleet Troopers. As they're not coming out of the bus this turn, effectively I have a pseudo pass. Tom goes with his B1s with the HQ uplink. He moves and recovers to get the uplink back for the next turn. Going with Shriv, I hand out a dodge to Ahsoka, and then I double move the bus to block the middle point, leaving 1 less access point to the middle for Tom. Tom is only 9 activations, so passes. I pull a sniper. I aim and shoot some B1s as I've got a lack of a better target, and I end up killing a single mini. Going with some Magnas, Tom moves up to try and stay out of line of sight of the snipers. With my final sniper, I aim and shoot the same B1s, and again Tom picks up another mini. I decide to play aggressively with Sabine, and I double move towards the middle. This way I can react to Tom moving up the board. She's tokened up and has a shield, so I'm not worried about any pot shots. The last activations of the turn are used double moving melee pieces to get to a better position for the next round. I play Ahsoka's 3-pip, A New Beginning, and Tom plays Crush Them. We're tied on 3 pips, so we roll a chance cube, and Tom gets the priority. I give my orders to Ahsoka, Sabine and my bus to clean up my bag a little bit, but also to give a dodge to both Sabine and Ahsoka. I've used Ahsoka's recover card, which could have been really good later in the game to get force pushback. However, personally, I prefer to keep the lower pips for later in the game when I want to get the priority over having a recover. Tom also decides to spend potentially Grievous's worst command card, as it's more of a win more card, and he won't benefit from any of the card effect, so it was more just to get orders to Grievous and the Magnas, and pops the B1 uplink, so everything has an order apart from Asajj. And with the priority and perfect order control, Tom chooses to pass. He's not in a rush to dive in, as key positions is all about the long game. I go to my bag and I pull out a sniper. I aim and shoot at Asajj. With no dodge and no cover, I get a wound and I'm pretty stoked about it.
But the main one I was quite annoyed about was the fact that Asajj Ventress took a wound from a sniper. First shot and first blank on red dice with Asajj.
Tom activates some Magna Guards, double moving up to some cover. I tap improvised orders and I pull a core token, so I token up and move to the back objective. Tom is worried about my bus attacking, but I remind him that it doesn't have a gun on it, so he moves up some B1s and then takes a standby. Activating a core unit, I move up towards the middle. Tom now activates some B1s who double move to join the Magna Guards. Going back to my bag, I pull out a sniper. They aim and shoot the B1s with a standby. It kills a droid, but most importantly, I'm now free to move up my bus without it being shot. Tom moves up with some B1s and takes a dodge. He's playing fairly cagey with this list. I was expecting him to go full Leroy Jenkins, but that's more just from knowing how he plays. Getting Commander Bowie, I move up and I give another dodge to Sabine. Tom opts for some Magna Guards, who move up to the ball at the bottom of the screen. Activating my last sniper, I keep shooting the same B1s and Tom loses another mini. I would always recommend shooting other things with snipers against the CIS army, but Tom's been great at not letting me see his valuable units. Activating his B1s with the uplink, he moves to the barricade and recovers. It's worth noting at this point that the developers once said, if you want to move but the terrain is in the way, or if you want to measure anything, you can move the terrain as long as you make sure you put it back in the same spot, which is what you can see us doing here. He then takes a pot shot at my snipers, who take a suppression. With low profile, my snipers can block 3 before they have to roll dice, so I'm okay with them staying where they are, even if Tom can shoot them. I activate Ahsoka and I move up towards the middle, to be able to cut off Grievous and the Magna Guard's approach. Tom now activates Grievous and moves up to the Magna Ball. He then moves again to the edge of the cover. Activating Sabine, I move to get line of sight on Grievous and the Magna Squad. She puts a wound on General Grievous and the same on the Magna Guard. If I suppress General Grievous enough, that'll stop him in his tracks and he'll panic. With up close and personal, Sabine is now sitting with 4 dodges and a shield in heavy cover. I'm sure she'll be okay until the start of round 3, but I have a plan in mind on how to get her out of such a sketchy spot. With his last squad of B1s, Tom moves and recovers to get his uplink back. Now activating my bus, I give Ahsoka a dodge. I then move, reposition, and then take a dodge myself. I only move once so I can dump the fleets out this turn if I decide to. I'd love to get a full fleet trooper shot on Asajj. Tom now activates Asajj, who moves up and takes a standby action. Because of this, my fleets just stay on the bus, and that's the end of the turn. Going into turn 3, I need to do something about Sabine. She's in cover, and a lot of stuff is approaching her, so I opt for Sabine's 1-pip explosions. And Tom goes for General Grievous's 2-pip crush them. My single order goes to Sabine, and I pop Seize the Initiative on Ahsoka. She only has this upgrade for this command card, as she'll get an order every other turn of the game. Grevious gives an order to himself and Asajj, and then Tom pops the uplink on the B1s, so all that's in the bag is a Magna Guard and a single B1 unit. I activate Sabine and I throw out 2 bombs to cut off the double move advance from Tom. For her second action, I move behind a barricade to keep her safe. A little unsure of the best way to tackle the bombs, Tom moves up some B1s and takes a shot into my rebel commander, who takes a wound. I draw a sniper, who aims and shoots at Asajj. I get 2 and she takes 2. This is huge on a 5 HP mini, as he's now going to have to do something big with her to avoid dying.
So this is where the dice gods are probably not in my favour with Asajj, where, first 2 turns she's already taken 3 wounds. Dice gods are not helping me at all, which is quite, I have to start playing Asajj Ventress quite defensively and somehow get her in towards melee without taking any more shots.
Immediately deciding to activate Asajj, Tom moves and dodges. With defensive stance she gets 2 dodges, and it keeps her a little bit more safe for this turn. Getting a core, I disembark my fleets, who take an out of cover shot on Asajj. I can't pass up this attack, and I want to avoid the B1s taking a standby before they get out. He spends all of his dodges and takes a wound, leaving her left on 1. This is huge for me. If I can kill Asajj before she gets to do anything, he'll lose access to her command cards and one of his most key units. Tom activates a B1 unit, aims and shoots at my fleet troopers standing in the open. He gets 4 and I've got no cover, so I end up losing 3 minis. Going to my bag, I manage to get the bus. I medic a fleet trooper back and I give them a dodge with Shriv. I then move as my second action. Tom now moves his Magna Guards up with a double move. At this point he can't move out of range of my bombs, so I'm going to wait for more to get in range before I trigger them. I go with my back core, who are effectively my pass, as they're holding the back objective. Now Tom activates his B1s, who aim and shoot my fleets. He gets 4 after dodge and cover, I roll 2 and I lose 2. Importantly, at the moment I still have the heavy. Pulling a sniper, I aim and shoot at the Magna Guards, but my snipers blank out. Tom's second Magna Guard double moves up aggressively. I'm holding up activating Ahsoka until Grievous has been, so I pull a core who dodge standby. Tom's B1s move and recover the uplink, and my commander hands Ahsoka a dodge and then moves to better cover for the next turn. Tom activates General Grievous, who double moves. Before the second move triggers, I blow up a bomb. I hit his Magna, Grievous, and the B1s. I blow up a bomb and it hits both Magna Guards, General Grievous and a squad of B1s. On the B1s I get 2 crits and I kill 2 minis. Grievous gets a hit and a crit. With Guardian and Protector he takes no wounds. 1 Magna Guard takes a wound and the second Magna Guard takes nothing. And as his second action he shoots my commander, who takes a wound. Getting my last sniper, I aim and shoot Grievous. I add the second man's dice to the pool as he doesn't have a dodge, so I won't benefit from high velocity. I get 2 through and the Magna Guards take 2 wounds. With his last activation of the turn, Tom AI attacks my fleet troopers and they save, then the B1s take a dodge. To round out the turn, Ahsoka activates, dodges and moves into melee with Grievous. She gets all 6 after dice fixing with the dodges. With Impervious and spending his Surge token, he saves everything, and now we go into turn 4. As I'm engaged with General Grievous, I want the priority, so I play Ahsoka's 1-pip, I am no Jedi, and Tom plays Trained in Your Jedi Arts. As we're tied on 1-pips, I roll the chance cube, and I win the priority. My order goes to Ahsoka. Tom's order goes to Grievous, and then the B1 chain gives an order to all of the B1s and 1 Magna Guard, leaving 1 Magna and Asajj in the bag. I activate Ahsoka. I tap reflexes for a dodge, and then I attack, spending both dodges to fix into 6 for Tom to defend. General Grievous takes 2 wounds, and then I push him out of melee. Ahsoka moves out of the way, and then Sabine blows up the bomb that General Grievous is now in range of. Tom takes the hit on the Magna Guard and takes a wound, losing a mini, and the B1s also take a wound. Tom decides to retaliate with General Grievous, and double moves into the middle of my units and into melee with the core unit by the wall. He relentless charges and wipes out the squad. He then does the General Grievous blender into the officer who saves the wound, and then attacks Ahsoka who dodges and saves. I then draw Sabine, who jumps on top of the archway and shoots both squads of Magna Guards. With Pierce, I give a squad a wound, and then I kill a mini in the next squad. I get 2 dodges from up close and personal. Activating a Magna, Tom double moves into Ahsoka, and she saves from the attack. I then pull a Special Forces. I aim and shoot Asajj, hoping to get the last wound, but she saves. I think at this point, if they'd got another wound through on Asajj, they'd have been the most successful snipers I've ever played. Tom activates some B1s, who aim and shoot my fleet troopers, and again, they save. I decide to now activate my fleet troopers before they're completely wiped out. I don't rally, they panic, and their activation is done. Tom activates another squad of B1s, who again aim and shoot the fleet troopers, and finally they're all dead. I pad out my activation with a dodge standby with the guys at the back objective. Tom goes with another B1 squad who shoots Sabine. He gets 1, and Sabine spends a dodge. With my Rebel Officer Bowie activating, I rally. I then shoot Grievous while he's out in the open, and he takes a wound. Tom activates Asajj. He's trying to work out if he can get into melee with Sabine, and decides to move and dodge to play a little bit more defensively. I activate a sniper and I shoot the Magna Guard who are still to activate. I get 3 hits and I deal a single wound. Tom then immediately charges that same squad into Ahsoka, and she ends up taking 2 wounds from the attack. I go with the bus, and I heal a wound from Ahsoka, leaving her in a good spot for the next round. Rounding out the turn with a sniper, I shoot General Grievous, who gets 1 hit and then takes 1 wound from Pierce. Going into the second last turn of the game, I decide that I might need to preserve some activations now, as Grievous is in my lines. I play Family Reunion to give Sabine and Ahsoka an order and teamwork, and they can make a 2-speed move at the start of each other's activations. Tom plays Standing Orders. This tells me that he's only got 2 Asajj cards left in his hand, and she wouldn't give an order to General Grievous, and that's who Tom wants his order on. He pops the uplink to give the B1 chain an order, leaving some B1s, both Magna Guards, and Asajj in his bag. I first activate Ahsoka, and I move Sabine into melee with Grievous. Ahsoka then reflexes to give both of them a dodge. I then kill a Magna Guard and push the second one out with force push, leaving me free to move into melee with Grievous when Sabine activates. Tom goes with some B1s and moves to secure his back objective. Sabine now activates, and Ahsoka moves into melee with General Grievous. Sabine whipcords General Grievous, giving him 2 immobilize tokens and 2 suppression tokens, and I punch him to give him another wound. Activating some B1s, Tom shoots my snipers, who get a suppression. They then move towards the objective. Going with a sniper strike team, I shoot the Magna Guard, and he's dead. Tom moves more B1s up to the middle so he can move towards the centre point in the next turn, and he shoots my snipers, who again take a suppression. Activating that same sniper squad, I rally, aim and shoot some B1s. With 3 dice, I only kill 1 B1. Tom passes and I pull my bus. Shriv passes out a dodge to Ahsoka, which gives 1 to Sabine. He heals Ahsoka, and then I take a dodge with the bus. Tom's core at the bottom of the screen activate, and he's starting to make the charge towards the middle for the next round. Getting Commander Bowie, I inspire Sabine. I then take cover Sabine to give her and Ahsoka a dodge. I then embark onto the bus. I do this as he's not going to be able to kill the bus in the next turn, and then I can be safe to have another body to disembark to contest the victory point in the next round. But now General Grievous can't use his versatile gun to shoot her whilst he's in melee. Tom finally goes with General Grievous and swings both lightsabers at Ahsoka. He gets 6 hits, I spend 4 dodges and I save it all, and I feel pretty smug about it. With my final core, I just call them done. Tom then moves with his B1s towards the objective. My final sniper takes a pot shot at some B1s, kills a mini and then climbs down, as it's about to become a real scrum in the middle. Tom's final activation is Asajj, and she double moves towards the centre point. Tom's final command card is Standing Orders to my Swift Protector. I've saved this for the last round, as any small base trooper who is declared the defender gains a dodge. This feels like a strong card for the middle scrum that is coming. I only order Ahsoka, and Tom's order goes to General Grievous, and then some B1s from the uplink chain. My first pull is the bus. I give a dodge out with Shriv to Ahsoka. I then move to block off as much of the key position as possible. I then heal a wound from the commander that I'm transporting. Tom then activates General Grievous, who dodges and hits Ahsoka for 5. I spend 2 dodges and I take 2 wounds. I then go to my bag. I activate some snipers and decide to double move with them, and then I've got a second body on the objective. Tom goes with some core, who move through the door in the wall and touch the objective. I activate Ahsoka. I recover, force push General Grievous out of melee into the middle of nowhere. I jump over the bus to the key position, and then I tap reflexes for a dodge. With Tom's second activation of B1s, he again moves through the door to hit the objective. It's getting really tight around Tom's part of the objective, which was my plan, so that I can outnumber him just by having more space on my side of the objective. My commander disembarks to touch the objective. I then take a dodge. Tom now has a space issue with the B1s. He double moves and stands on top of the objective on the only part of the terrain that's big enough for a base, and it's now the only legal place for you to place a mini. He then has to cohese the rest of the squad, and it leaves him pretty limited for space for anyone else to touch the objective. I pull a core, I tap improvise and I get a sniper. I move and I shoot with them at the B1s. If he's panicked and taking up space, he won't count to the final score. At this point you can see us start to point to things, as there's a guy off the street asking what the minis are. Normally this is absolutely fine, and a lot of people are interested in the game, mainly because it's Star Wars. This guy was pretty drunk and got incredibly annoying after a little while, asking the same question repeatedly. And we just continue to answer his questions. Tom decides to pass, and I get more snipers, who again aim and shoot the same B1s. I kill 3 minis. Tom then goes with some B1s. He moves and realises that he can't touch the key position, so he shoots my snipers, and they take a suppression. I finally get the pull I've been waiting for, and I get Sabine. I currently outnumber Tom on the objective, so she moves into base contact with Asajj. I do this to stop him having force push, so he can't touch the objective, even with burst of speed. He's not got enough room to get there without force pushing one of my squads away, so tying her up with Sabine like that has won me the game.
So we're now thinking about the objectives. Now with Asajj, because she was on such low health, only had 1 wound left, I didn't know when to move her into base contact because she only had 1 wound. If I moved her in early and then try and use force push to get someone out, Tom would have still had maybe 2-3 snipers to take a shot at her, which again I was worried about because of points, because we've then been on 3-3 with unit leaders, but then he would have won with the points killed. So I was really struggling to decide when to move Asajj Ventress into base contact with the objective, but then, as you probably will now see, what happened with Sabine. I think all in all, after review of the game, I actually thought it was a really fun game to play, although quite stressful because of the low health on Asajj. But I think after review now, I probably maybe should have moved Ventress in earlier on the objective and force push route, and then relied on Dice Gods. But I think even before that is to even maybe try a new burst of speed and try and get her in the fight earlier, and therefore she might not have taken as many wounds in such of the early rounds. But overall, really fun game. But yeah, really fun list, and the first impressions of the Sabine Ahsoka list and combos, I think it's a really cool mechanic. So hopefully I get to play this list again, because I think I'll play it a little bit differently. But overall, a really fun game, and hope you enjoyed the video.
I think Tom got pretty unlucky with his dice in this game. Taking 4 of 5 on Asajj before she got to melee made it an uphill battle for him. But stick to your game plan and play the objective, and be aware of the space that you need to contest the objective at the end of the game. Until next time, may the Force be with you.
That's no moon.